because the debt shredder would work just as well in the commercial field. And like I said, it's a great conversation piece for their clients. Anyway, here we go. And hello there, South Florida, and all of the rest of the real estate world out there listening and watching us here on The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner, and I am your host here on The Real Estate Show, which is heard live 5 days a week, 5 different ways, and at 5 p.m. Interesting story. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Kind of an interesting little discovery. But anyway, we are here live Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Those are our live shows, and each and every day we have them linked together by the common thread that is real estate, and also by sort of a universal theme. This week we were talking about the fearless first-time home buying experience, and that was really punctuated with our Tuesday night event that we had, our live Zoom workshop. Those of you who attended know that it was an hour of information-packed tips and tools for you to use in being able to buy your very first property. And as a result here, we now have a number of folks that have taken that step forward, that they were able to schedule a little bit of extra time going into and setting the first steps in their process of becoming fearless home buyers. And it's interesting because once we have that conversation, many times people will look back and say, I don't know what I was really so afraid of. We try to take all the mystery, all the fear, and all the mistakes out of that process, which is why our presentation is set up as the 7 mistakes to avoid in becoming a fearless first-time home buyer. So Monday we kind of went into the groundwork and the foundation of what a first-time home buyer really is. It's not necessarily someone who's never owned a home, but someone who hasn't been on title for 3 years. We talked about there are really 3 key elements that it takes in order to be a homeowner. And lenders, let's start right there. Lenders look for 3 key things. Number 1, they're looking at the price of the property, but how much skin are you going to put in the game? So the down payment is the first thing that they look at. Even before that, they'll look at the credit of the borrower, right? Because if you don't have a minimum credit score, most programs started around 620 credit score. So if you don't have a 620 credit score, most lenders, not all, and that's why I always say, it's really good to book an appointment with us and to communicate with us, because to every rule, there's always an exception, and we may have the exception that you need. But normally the first thing the lender is going to do is pull up your credit and find out whether you pass the first obstacle, which is credit. And the better your credit, the better the rate, the less you have to put down. I call it the 720 club. In fact, next week, we're going to talk about an opportunity for you to win $10,000 in what we call the 720 Club Challenge. And it's how do you get into a 720 credit score if you don't have one. And I'm going to show you how to get it during this challenge, because I want you all to be eligible to win. Now, if you already have a 720 credit score, we're going to talk about, you can still be eligible to win. And there's other prizes as well that we're going to be announcing when we announce our challenge on Monday. But there is a bunch of money and a bunch of other things, including free coaching, free credit coaching that we're going to talk about. Get you past, one way or another, we're going to get you past that initial hurdle that the banks want of the credit score. The second thing, they're going to say, okay, well, based on your credit score, you're going to have to come up with X dollars. And like I said before, you show me a person who's coachable, committed, and can pay rent, they can pay a mortgage even better, and they can own a home even better. So we're going to talk about down payment. And that's what a lot of the workshop covered, was the down payment assistance, or DPA, which is, by the way, if you want the reports that we talk about this week, even if you couldn't attend the workshop on Tuesday, you can still get the reports by texting the letters DPA for down payment awards at 561-861-2366. So if I already told you I can solve the credit issue, I can solve the down payment issue. Well, Eric, there's one more thing, right? You said there was a third thing. And yes, and that is your ability to show income. And we can even get it to the point where all you have to do is show that you can pay the rent that you're paying. And if we can find you a payment lower or equal to or lower than your rent, then we can get you qualified just on that. And so all three things, we have a very good handle on how we can help you do it. And that's why you want to text the letter DPA to get that report and learn more. And you can do that right now. As I'm talking here on the radio, you don't have to wait for after the radio show. It doesn't interrupt me. It's our automatic text line. What would you expect? Would you expect anything less from the automatic landlord? And all you have to do is text DPA to 561-861-2366. And that's it. Very simple. And the rest will start the process and take care of itself. So then on Tuesday, of course, which was the day of the workshop. So we talked all about the, sort of giving you little hints and gems and how to log in. And we had what I would call in the virtual world, standing room only. Over 137, I think it was, registrations for the workshop. And as usual, people sign up and some don't show up. And but no harm, no foul. Anyone who signed up for the workshop is still eligible to get the information. We want you to have the information. Remember, our goal here with the Real Estate Show is to help educate, enable, and empower. And that's the important thing, because we want you to do it, not just imagine it. We want you to do it. We want you to have your own piece of the American dream, which is real estate. And there's no better thing to have. And going to Wednesday, which was our midweek report, we started talking about how rents are going up across the country. Imagine if you could lock in at these incredibly low interest rates, which are going up. But imagine if you could lock in that interest rate, which will never change. Taxes may go up, insurance may go up, but your mortgage payment locked in happily and securely for the next 30 years. And that's worth the conversation as well. So renting is never as good as owning. And I'll argue that conversation all day long. If you're thinking, well, I might not be there that long, which is the first one. Listen, you talk to us about that. We'll even maybe put in for eligible properties. We've even helped someone buy a property, and then if they didn't want to keep it, we would buy it back. And so far, no one's taken me up on that story. Why? Because by the time they realize what's going on, they have extra equity. They've gotten the tax advantage, and once you experience, once you become an owner, you'll never go back. Right? You may relocate and temporarily rent, but that's only while you're getting ready to buy. Once you understand the advantages, and even if you relocate, leave the house there, rent it out, be part of your portfolio, let it appreciate, let it generate cash flow, let it generate tax shelters, let it generate equity. Listen, I could go on and on about this, but of course you're listening to the Real Estate Show. So anyway, I want to tell you a quick story. I always start the show off, telling you about how we're live at 5. We're on 5 days a week, and you can hear us 5 different ways. And that's true. In fact, I didn't even tell you, but we're on our AM station, 1470. We're on the FM, 96.9, 95.3. And we're on the apps, which is, you can download the free apps onto your phone and access any of those radio stations. And if you're there at 5 o'clock, you'll hear it live. If you miss the radio stations, AM, FM, or the apps, you can go 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days. In other words, on demand. You can go to our website at Automatic Landlord. And on there, you'll see it says the Real Estate Show, which you can listen live if you're there at 5. So it's another way to listen to it live. But if you're not there, then just look at the real estate notes, because every one of the notes is attached to the recording. So you can read the notes, listen to the recording right there at automaticlandlord.com. That's what you always want to remember. If you forget anything about this show, just remember automaticlandlord.com. And this is really the key to all of the information that you want to be. And in fact, just on that note, remember yesterday, I thought it was the coolest thing. The headlines gave me the newest idea, which is you can't afford not to be your own landlord. In other words, everybody should be a landlord, whether it's just to yourself or whether it be to other people. And I think that is just outstanding. Everybody should be a landlord. And so that was the fourth way, right? AM, FM, the app, the website, and then here on Facebook. There's a number of folks here watching us and listening to us on our Facebook page. And that's the fifth way. So yesterday, and after the radio show, every day I go for a run. And when I was coming back and I was getting ready to go in the shower, my son comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I was listening to you to your radio show." And I go, "You were? Where?" And he goes, "Well, I just went over to Alexa, and he said, Alexa, uh, play the real estate show on iHeartRadio," which is one of the apps, right? And I'm thinking, what are the odds that it'll be this show of all the things called real estate or the real estate show that Alexa will come up with that? But here's the sixth way now that you can hear the real estate show. All you have to do, if you have Alexa or one of those home things, is say, "Hey, Alexa, play the real estate show on iHeartRadio." And lo and behold, the latest episode of the real estate show comes up. So now I told him, first of all, I couldn't believe that here's this 9-year-old boy who came up with this great idea. So hats off to you, Jordan. Again, you amazed me. But now what do I do? I said I'm live at five different ways. So I'm going to have to say 5 plus 1. And of course, every day live at 5. We do have a sixth show, by the way. So, I might be able to work with that, but it's not live. It's our Sunday night recap of all the shows. So Sunday nights at 9 p.m., you can hear all of our shows back to back, Monday to the end of the week, all on our Sunday evening show on any of the radio stations, the websites. And the only place I'm not live on Sunday night is on Facebook. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Here are a few words from our sponsors. I want to then continue our conversation a little bit more about the fearless first-time home buyers and talk to you about a couple of other little details that you just might not know exist out there for those of you who think that you might be credit challenged, income challenged, or equity or down payment challenged. We've got a solution for you. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner, and Eric will be right back. So, hey, John, look at that. Hey, by the way, Jack, did you see that Facebook made you a milestone follower? How do you like that? That's pretty cool. I don't know what that means, but it does mean that you've been here before several times, and I always appreciate seeing you there on our show. And so obviously, you know about our real estate show, Biz Connect, which we kind of put it on hold for a little while, but we're going to have to bring that back as well. In fact, I think we're going to have a whole bunch of announcements this coming week. And let's see what else that I have prepared here. I had a whole stack of things. But if you guys are listening or watching, give us some love on our Facebook page. Hit the like button, the thumbs up, and most helpful, most importantly, is to hit the share button. Let more people know about that. And in fact, Jack, I'll have to make sure that I let everybody know. I'm going to have one whole week where I'm going to talk about the ins and outs of the debt shredder, which would be probably a great thing to refer clients to. Yeah. What do you think about mixing real estate and poetry? Yep, we're coming back. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on the Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Willner. I am your host, as we have been here bringing this show not only to South Florida, but now across the country on our various different channels. You know, we're on not only the AM and the FM here locally on the regular airways, which is now picked up by a lot of the apps. And so you can now listen to our local radio show across the country. All you have to do, either an iHeartRadio, tune in, or the radio.com app, is simply go in there and search for 1470 AM Money Talk Radio, for example, and you'll be able to pick it up. Now, you got to be live at 5 because you're listening to the live stream of that radio station, but we're here 5 days a week, every day, weekdays, Monday through Friday. You'll hear it there. And again, at 9 p.m. on Sunday for our little, what I call the mega dose of real estate show, when we broadcast all of our weekly shows back to back, starting at 9 p.m. at night. And so this week, you know, we've been talking about this whole first-time home buyers, and let's face it. Also, another aspect about being a homeowner is you get more respect when you tell folks that you own your property. The respect level goes up, the seriousness goes up, the stability, the perceived stability goes up, and there are so many benefits out there. I could go on and on. Now, wouldn't it be great? Now, if you're not a homeowner, wouldn't it be great if you own your own place? You're basically securing your future. I can't tell you how many people I get phone calls on a weekly basis telling me that they're either looking to buy or looking to rent somewhere else because their owner got approached. Somebody made them an offer they couldn't refuse. Now the landlord is selling out. And P.S., think about this, and this is a problem made worse by the moratoriums, which were designed to protect the tenants. Now, many landlords said, bump that. I don't want to go through that ever again, where the government tells me when I can collect my rents, when I gave the service and provided the roof over their heads. And I had to make the mortgage payment, but the tenant could simply skip out and not make the payments. And at the end of that forbearance period, the owner has to catch up the payments, but the tenant could simply walk out and walk away. Yes, it will have some impact on their credit if their landlord reports it, but not all landlords report it. And for some tenants, it was easier to walk away, put 3 months first, last, and security down somewhere else than to pay back the last 18 months that they didn't pay. Not very fair in the scheme of fairness here, but as you can see, a lot of landlords now said, that's it for me. I don't want to deal with that. And that's a little bit short-sighted on the landlord side, but this is what the evictions and the moratoriums caused, because now there's an extreme shortage. There's a shortage of real estate to buy. There's an extreme shortage of properties to rent. And that was caused by, you know, the very thing that seemed was an artificial prop up of the economy. And there's probably a better way to do that, number one, and to have protected not just the tenant, but also the landlord. In other words, either they both have to pay everything back, or if the government's going to issue and print all this extra money, then they should protect both sides, not just the one. You know, when I hear comments, of vilifying the landlords for wanting to get paid, and many landlords, by the way, are folks like you and I. They're mom and pop. You know, they're not big hedge funds. Most landlords, the majority of the landlords out there, are individuals that saved up, scraped up their extra money, bought an investment property for the long-term future. They're not making a killing right now off of these properties. They're making a little bit. Some of them not even making anything in the process of renting, but understanding that the equity buildup. And for example, this year, those landlords that are going to hang in there not only were rewarded 15% here in South Florida, 22% in Houston. The advantage of being a landlord was dramatically magnified by this pandemic. And as a result, those that were able to continue to receive their rents and had a good relationship with their tenants, and their tenants, both of them honored their deal. Everybody is doing better because those tenants got the security and the safety of keeping and staying where they are. The landlord gets rewarded for having taken the risk, for adding the investment and providing the service. And when that happens, everything works, and it works the way that it should. But for most people, hey, Marianne, just joined us here on our Facebook. Most people in today's economy, the idea of being a homeowner is a far off dream. And between credit issues from the past, the lack of a down payment, as I mentioned earlier in the week, telling the story of the Uber driver that I had coming back from my presentation up in Philadelphia. I asked him if he was a homeowner. He said no. I asked him if he ever wanted to be a homeowner, and he said yes. But I've only been in America for 6 years, and I'm thinking to myself, you should be a homeowner then, because if you've been here 6 years, we have systematically, in a serial fashion, helped immigrants become homeowners here in the United States within a year or two of establishing their residency here. I asked him if was it a green card issue. No, hey, he's got all his paperwork fine, in order. 6 years later, he's good. But the issue was that in his mind, in his perception, he thought that he needed to save up a much larger down payment than he needs to, and that he should be here at least 10 years before he buys a house. Don't know where that concept came from, but that was a specific comment. So with the right income, which is why I said, if you can show me that you can afford to pay your rent and you've got the history to pay your rent. In fact, I'll even do one better for you, because we just did this for someone who didn't have a Social Security number. They had what was called an ITIN number, which is the equivalent of Social Security number for the purposes of paying taxes and legitimizing your working here in the United States. Was paying rent, and we were able to create credit on a credit report with his ITIN number to make him eligible to buy more real estate. So there's just an example of something you probably don't hear anybody else talking about, and we do this on a regular basis. And so with the right income, the commitment, which I told you about, and focus from the focus from you who wants to be a home buyer, I think the impossible, what was seemingly impossible, becomes completely possible. And not only just possible, but probable. And if you want to learn more about that, text the letters DPA for down payment or down purchase assistance, whatever you want to make those letters mean. But DPA, text it to 561-861-2366. In fact, I suggest pull out your phone right now and put this number, save this number, because this week I'm talking about down payment assistance. Other weeks I'm talking about credit. I'm talking about the best mortgage rates. I'm talking about how to make real estate a reality for you. If you save this number in your phone, just save it in there as the Real Estate Show text line, and it's in your phone, 561-861-2366. And the programs that we offer are both innovative and unique, setting us apart, completely setting us apart from our competitors. And based on the income, which, like I said, we have alternate ways of providing that and proving that, based on down payment instead of prior credit history, the door to realizing your dream is now within reach. As soon as you text DPA to 561-861-2366. And so tomorrow is our final show of the week, our Friday fun day, our Friday TGIF. That's the thank God it's Florida, thank God it's Friday, and then thank God it's finished as well. And we're going to wrap up kind of the week in a nice little bow. We're going to talk a little bit about our path to home ownership for those people who are not quite ready and want a little bit more of a runway to get to home ownership. We'll talk about becoming a member of our path to home ownership. and kind of the Christmas club of real estate, if you will. Anyway, that's it for today. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off for another live edition of the Real Estate Show. Until tomorrow, drive safe and make it a great day. Bye-bye. And that is a wrap. Goodbye, YouTube.